Hey there, my yogi friend. Thank you so much for joining me here on my YouTube channel. This is going to be a quick vinyasa flow class to stretch out tight hamstrings. So if you've been feeling a little bit tight in the back of your legs, maybe you've been sitting for a long period of time or you've been working out a lot, this class is for you. You may want to have 2 blocks and a strap. If you don't have these props, you can always replace the blocks with some books, and you can replace the strap with a belt or a scarf. So whenever you're ready, come down onto your mat, and we're going to get started in a seated position. You can have your legs crossed like I have here. You can sit on top of a block if that would feel more comfortable, or just come into any seated position that would feel good for you. Try to keep the length in your spine, growing tall through the crown of your head. Roll your shoulders down your back, and close your eyes if that would feel okay. And take a big breath in to begin, and exhale it out. One more time. Inhale through the nose, exhale it out. And take a moment here to tune into your body, noticing how you feel. Maybe bringing your awareness to the tension in your hamstrings or anywhere else in your body where you're feeling tense. And just familiarize yourself with how that feels in your body. No judging, just noticing, observing the body. And gradually begin to bring your awareness to your breath, in and out of your nose. Let each breath take you deeper into your body, out of your head, out of your thoughts, and tuning in to how you feel. Go ahead and take 5 more deep breaths in and out of your nose. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and make your way onto all fours, coming into a tabletop position. Stack your shoulders above your wrists, hips above your knees, and we'll begin moving through a few cat-cows. Drop your belly, arch your spine as you lift your gaze. Exhale, draw your belly button in, round your back, curl your tailbone under. Inhale to your cow. Exhale, round into cat. And continue at your own pace, using your breath to guide your movement. If there's any other movement that would feel good here to begin waking up your body, go ahead and find that movement. Moving at a pace that works for you. And go ahead and take 2 more breaths. Gradually make your way back into a neutral tabletop position, and we'll slowly make our way up into a downward facing dog. Walk your hands forward first, about a handprint, pointing your index fingers forward. And then keeping your knees bent, slowly begin to lift your knees up off of the mat, pressing your heels back. Begin to lengthen your spine as you gradually take your hips up towards the ceiling. And keep your knees bent here, especially if your back is beginning to round. We want to prioritize the length in the spine so that you can actually get the hamstring stretch. Send your tailbone up, press your heels back as your chest comes towards your thighs. Take a breath in and exhale it out. Feel free to walk out your dog here for a few breaths, bending into one knee and straightening the other leg. Maybe even swaying your hips from side to side if that would feel good. And slowly come into a neutral down dog. Once again, keep the knees bent here to prioritize the length in your spine. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a breath in and exhale it out. Slowly begin to walk your hands back towards your feet, keeping the knees as bent as you need. If the floor feels really far away here, release your hands down to a pair of blocks. And release your head and neck. And come into a rag doll. Bring your hands to opposite elbows. Distribute the weight evenly in your feet. Maybe sway from side to side, releasing through your lower back. Relax your shoulders. And continue to breathe into any tight areas. Slowly come back to center, releasing your hands back down to the floor or your blocks, keeping your knees as bent as you need. Take a breath in. Exhale it out. On your next inhale, walk your hands towards the top of your mat, coming into your plank pose. Stack your shoulders above your wrists. Curl your tailbone under, press out through your heels. Take a breath in. Exhale, send your hips back up towards the ceiling, coming into your downward facing dog with a long spine. Inhale, press forward into your plank pose. Exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. One more time, inhale into your plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in and exhale it out. On your next inhale, look to the top of your mat. Take a few slow steps all the way to the top, coming into a forward fold. Feet can stay hips width apart or bring your big toes to touch. And bend your knees as much as you need to here. Once again, hands can come to a pair of blocks if the floor is far away. And distribute the weight evenly in your feet. Take a breath in. Exhale it out. Ground down through all four corners of your feet. On your inhale, come into a halfway lift. Long spine, keeping your back flat. Hands can come to your shins or even a little bit higher if your back is rounding. Reach back through your tailbone. Exhale, fold forward. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale into your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Last one, inhale. Extend out through the crown of your head. Exhale, fold forward. Round down, bring your hands to your waist. On your inhale, come up with a flat back, keeping your knees slightly bent. Come all the way up to standing. Inhale, circle your arms above you. Exhale, soften your knees, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Grow long. Exhale, plant your hands. Step your right leg back into your plank and step your left leg back. Press out through your heels. On your inhale, shift forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Keep your elbows in close towards your ribs as you lower your belly down. Press into your hands. Inhale up into a cobra. Shoulders down your back. Chest lifted. Exhale, slowly make your way back into your downward facing dog, bending your knees, send your tailbone up towards the ceiling, press back through your heels. Take a breath in, exhale it out. On your next inhale, send your right leg up behind you, 3-legged dog. Exhale, open your hip, bend your knee. Keep both shoulders pointing forward, and either stay here or draw a few circles with your right hip. Continue to breathe into it. Slowly square your hips back to center. Exhale, step your right foot in between your hands, sitting up for Crescent Lunge. If you need to, you can take a few steps to get there. Drop your back knee down to the mat. Pad your knee if you need to. Stack your right knee above your ankle. Bring your hands to your front thigh. Press down to lift yourself up. And send your hips forward and down, shoulders down your back. Press your hands down into your thigh. Straighten out your front leg, sending your hips back. Exhale, come forward, bending into your front knee. Inhale, rise. Exhale, come forward. Continue at your own pace, bending and straightening your front leg. Use your breath to guide your movement. And go ahead and take one more. Bring the bend back into your front knee. Release your hands down to frame your front foot, either coming onto your fingertips or bring your hands down to a pair of blocks. Exhale, take your hips back for half splits, coming onto your right heel. Flex your toes towards your face. Make sure your left hip isn't collapsing out to the side, so draw it back in line with your left knee. Keep the length in your spine, so if your back is rounding a lot here, bring your hands to a pair of blocks to raise the floor a little bit higher to you. And folding over your front leg, take 2 deep breaths here. And from here, slowly walk your left fingertips out a little bit. Ground down through your right heel. On your inhale, twist to your right, reaching your right arm up towards the ceiling. Send your right hip back. Take a breath in. Exhale, release your right hand down. Bring the bend back into your front knee, planting your hands in front. Press back into your downward facing dog. Modifying your dog as you need to. Once again, trying to prioritize keeping the length in your spine. It's also okay if your heels are lifted. Just press your heels back away from your face. Take a breath in and exhale it out. On your next inhale, send your left leg up behind you, 3-legged dog. Exhale, open your hip, bend your knee. Press down equally through both hands. And stay here or take those hip circles with your left hip. And slowly square your hips back to center, reaching your left leg long behind you. Exhale, step that foot through for Crescent Lunge. Left knee stacks above your ankle. Drop your back knee down to the mat, patting it up if you need to. Bring your hands to your front thigh, pressing down. Lift yourself up, shoulders down your back, and press your hips forward and down. Press down into your front thigh. On your inhale, take your hips back, straightening your front leg. Exhale, come forward, bending into your front knee. And continue for a few more breaths at your own pace. Steady your gaze and your breath. And go ahead and take one more. And when your front knee is bent, release your hands down to frame your front foot. Once again, bring them down to a pair of blocks if you need to. On your exhale, send your hips back for your half splits, coming onto your left heel. Flex your front toes towards your face. Lengthen out through the crown of your head as you fold forward. Prioritizing the length in your spine. Tuck your right hip in line with your right knee. And breathe. Slowly walk your right hand out a little bit, coming onto your fingertips. Ground down through your left heel. On your inhale, twist to your left, sending your left arm up towards the ceiling. Take one more breath here. Exhale, release your left hand back down. Bring the bend back into your front knee. Lift your back knee off the mat. Press back into your plank pose this time. And then flow through a vinyasa, lowering down in your chaturanga. Inhaling up through a cobra or up dog, and making your way back to downward facing dog, knees bent. Take a breath in, and exhale it out. On your next inhale, send your right leg up behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, step that foot through for your crescent lunge once again. Taking as many steps as you need to. Release your back knee down to the mat and pat it up if you need to. Bring your hands to your front thigh, press down, lift yourself up. Shoulders down your back. And this time on your inhale, take your arms above you. Draw your navel in, shoulders down your back. Exhale, release your hands down to frame your front foot. We're going to come into a side lunge. So walk your hands over to the inside of your left foot and then turn your left foot back behind you. Keep your right knee pointing towards your toes. Bring your right elbow to your front thigh. Press your hips forward and down towards the top of your mat. On your inhale, reach your left arm up and over. Drawing your left shoulder down away from your ear. Reach out through your fingertips. And take one more breath here. Release your left arm by your side. Press into your right heel to straighten your front leg. Turn your right toes to point towards the long side of your mat. And release your hands down to the floor in front of you or to a pair of blocks. Either stay here or begin to walk your hands forward, sending your hips back away from your hands. Release your forehead down. Stretch your hips back. Breathe. On your next inhale, slowly begin to walk your hands back in, coming into a halfway lift. Before we come back into our lunge, walk your hands over to the left. Coming into a side bend, plant your left hand next to your left knee. Begin to peel open your chest, reach your right arm up and over. Stay grounded through your right heel and draw your right shoulder back. On your next inhale, engage your core to come all the way up, extending your arms, and then cartwheel your hands down in front. Turning back to face the front of your mat, come back into your low lunge. Sending your right toes forward, plant your hands, and press back into your downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths here, noticing the difference from side to side. On your inhale, send your left leg up behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, step that foot in between your hands, low crescent lunge. Drop your back knee down to the mat. Bring your hands to your front thigh, press down to lift yourself up. Shoulders away from your ears. Let your hips sink forward. This time on your inhale, circle your arms above you. Spinning your pinky fingers in towards each other to open up the shoulders. Sternum lifted. Exhale, release your hands in front. We'll take it into that side lunge. Walk your hands over to your right. Turn your right toes in. Keeping your left knee bent and pointing forward, bring your left elbow to your front thigh. Reach your right arm up and over. Shoulder down away from your ear. Take 2 breaths here. On your next inhale, press into your left heel to lift yourself up. Begin to straighten your left leg. Turn your toes to point forward. And release your hands down in front of you. Once again, staying here. If the floor feels far away, come onto a pair of blocks. And then walk your hands forward as a last option, sending your hips back, lowering your chest and forehead down towards the floor. Take 1 more deep breath here. And slowly walk your hands back in, coming up into a flat back. Walk your hands over to the right. Plant your right hand down in line with your right knee. Inhale as you peel open your chest. Finding your side bend, reach your left arm up and over. Ground down through your left heel. Take one more breath here. On your inhale, engage your core as you rise up. Exhale, cartwheel your hands in front. Turn your left toes to point forward, right toes come back. Plant your hands, press back into your plank, and flow through a vinyasa. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Come back to your breath. Take note of any space opening up in your body. On your next inhale, take your right leg up behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, step that foot through, this time for a high lunge. Stack your right knee above your ankle. Press back through your left heel. Inhale, rise up, reaching your arms above you, shoulders down your back. Draw your belly button in to lengthen up through the crown of your head. Take a breath in. Exhale, open out into a brief warrior two, sending your left heel down towards the mat. Extend your arms out. On your inhale, straighten your front leg. Turn your right toes to point towards the long side of your mat. Bring your hands to your waist. Soften into your knees. On your exhale, fold forward. Keep your knees as bent as you need to. Release your hands down underneath your face or walk your hands in between your legs, pointing your fingers away from your face. Press your hands down into the floor to draw your chest closer towards your thighs. And spread the weight evenly in your feet. Relax your shoulders. Release your head and neck. Softening your face and your jaw. Take one more breath here. Exhale it out. Slowly walk your hands back underneath your face, coming up into a flat back, and then walk your hands towards the top of your mat, setting up for pyramid pose. Turn your right toes to point forward. Step your left foot up a little bit, making sure your feet are hips width apart. Back toes pointing about 45 degrees, and you may want to bring your hands down to a pair of blocks, especially if your back is beginning to round here. You can keep your right knee as bent as you need to. Then tuck your right hip in towards your center, keeping the length in your spine. Fold forward over your front leg. If your back heel is lifting, take your feet out just a little bit wider and try and keep both hip bones pointing forward. Take 2 deep breaths here. And slowly step your right leg back, coming into your downward facing dog, noticing the difference from side to side. On your next inhale, send your left leg up behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, step that foot through for your high lunge. Press back through your right heel. Inhale, rise up, engaging your core as you come up. Soften your ribs. So even though we're doing a lot of stretching for the hamstring, we want to do a little bit of strengthening to assist with the stretch. Take one more breath here. Exhale out into your warrior two. Spin your back toes out towards the long side of your mat. Extend your arms out. And then straighten your front leg. Turn your toes to point towards the long side of your mat. Bring your hands to your waist. Soften your knees slightly. On your exhale, fold forward with a flat back. Releasing your hands down underneath your face. Option to walk your hands in between your legs with your fingers pointing away like we did before, or if it feels accessible to you, you can bring your hands to your ankles or your outer heels, drawing your chest closer towards your thighs. Relax your shoulders. Let your head be heavy. And take one more breath here. Slowly bring your hands back underneath your face, coming into a flat back. Walk your hands over towards the top of your mat, turning your left toes to point forward. Step your right foot up about a footprint, turning your back toes out about 45 degrees. Keep your feet hips width apart, lining up your hip bones to the top of your mat. Draw your left hip back. Once again, if you need to, bring your hands down to a pair of blocks to keep the length in your spine a priority. Keep your front knee as bent as you need to. And fold over your front leg. Release your head and neck. Take one more breath here. And slowly press back into your downward facing dog. Take a breath in and exhale it out. Release your knees down to your mat and come into a seat. Bringing your legs out in front of you. Come onto the soles of your feet, keeping your knees bent, pointing up towards the ceiling. Toes pointing forward. We're going to take it into a reverse tabletop. Bring your hands behind you underneath your shoulders, fingers pointing towards your feet. Lift your sternum up towards the ceiling, rolling your shoulders back. Press into your heels on your inhale. Lift your hips up any amount, engaging your glutes and your hamstrings to lift your hips up. And if it's okay on your neck, you can take your head back. Exhale, slowly release your hips back down. Extend your arms out in front of you and roll all the way down onto your back, vertebrae by vertebrae. Releasing your arms down by your side when you make it down. Walk your heels in so that your fingertips can graze your heels. We'll set up for bridge pose. Keep your feet hips width apart, toes pointing forward. Draw your belly button in, pressing your lower back into the mat. Curl your tailbone under, and then lift your hips up. If it's accessible to you, you can interlace your hands underneath you, maybe coming onto your shoulders. And once again, engage your glutes and your hamstrings to lift up. Keeping your knees in line with your toes. Breathe into it. Exhale, slowly release back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Take your feet out as wide as your mat and knock your knees in towards each other. Take 2 breaths here. And slowly draw your knees into your chest, giving them a little squeeze. And release the soles of your feet back down onto your mat. Reach for your strap. Keeping your left foot planted, extend your right leg up towards the ceiling, loop the strap around your foot. Walk your hands down the strap so you can rest your elbows down on the floor. And then draw your leg in closer towards your chest. Either stay here with your left knee bent or extend that leg out in front of you. This will intensify the stretch, so adjust as you need. And relax your shoulders. Come back to observing your breath, staying present with the sensations in your body. slowly bring both sides of the strap into your right hand and let your leg fall out to your right. You can bring your left hand to your left hip to help it stay down. And take 5 deep breaths here, in and out of your nose. Very gently bring your leg back up, bending your knee if you need to, and take the strap into your left hand. Let your leg fall over to your left. Extend your arm out to your side. Gaze can follow. And try and keep both shoulders on the mat. Take 5 breaths here. Gently bring your leg back up to center. Removing the strap, release that foot back down with your knee bent, and loop the strap around your left leg. Extend your leg up towards the ceiling, walk your hands down the strap, and send your leg in closer towards your chest. To intensify the stretch, send your right leg out in front of you. And come back to your breath. And notice if this side feels any different than the other side. Take both sides of the strap into your left hand and let your leg fall out to the left. Right hand can come to your right hip to help it stay down. And once again, take 5 deep breaths here. Staying present with your body, with this moment. Gently bring that leg back up to center, bending your knee if you need to. Put the strap into your right hand and take that leg over to your right. Extend your left arm out in the opposite direction, letting your gaze follow. And try to keep both shoulders on the mat. Take 5 breaths here. On your inhale, bring your leg back up to center. Release the strap from your foot. Release your left leg down. Take the strap off to your side. And extend your left leg long in front of you, getting ready for Shavasana. Make yourself as comfortable as you need, letting go of any last little bit of tension. Let your body melt into the mat to enjoy this moment of rest. Stay here longer if you need, or begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then roll over onto your right side, curling up into a fetal position. And slowly make your way up into a comfortable seat. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, pausing here for a moment to notice how this practice has affected your body and your mind. And we'll close with a breath together. Take a deep inhale and exhale it out. Bring your hands to your third eye center, bringing gratitude to this practice and for taking this time to honor your body and stretch out those tight hamstrings. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. I hope this class has helped you to feel a little more relaxed in your body. If you'd like to continue practicing together, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as this helps me to keep putting out these free classes for you to enjoy. And if you're ready to take this beyond the random YouTube class, I'd like to invite you to check out my online studio membership. I actually have a series in there that's all about hip and hamstring flexibility. So if you'd like to take what we did today even further, check out my membership. You can start off with a 7-day free trial. You can cancel at any time if it's not what you like. And I hope to see you in there. So I'll leave the link below so you can check that out. Thanks again for joining me today. Namaste, my yogi friend.